So here's the problem. This thing here, my new welder, weighs 35 kilos. I just banged in a new 5 kilo spool of wire, so it now weighs 40 kilos, which makes it quite heavy for lugging around. So I'm going to make myself a little cart to put it on to make it easier. I've got here some wheels off an old lawnmower that I cut off and refused to throw away, thinking I'll use them one day, and obviously I am. So we just use a screwdriver to pop the cover off, and you can see there's a bit of a clip there, so we'll have to get that off. So there's a couple of ways of doing this. One is you can use a couple of screwdrivers and be levering in here and all that sort of stuff, and take the skin off your fingers. That probably works okay with this one. The other option is you can get yourself one of these suckers. Are about 20 bucks. This one comes with a heap of different heads, and you can use it for internal clips or external clips. This is a external clip, obviously, so it'll just spread it like this. I might have to put the camera down in order. I might need 2 hands to do this, but you can see it sort of spreads the clip, and you can easily flick it off. Not so much an issue with these ones, but with the little flat spring steel circlips, you'll end up stabbing yourself in the hand a couple of dozen times before you get them off. So these are a worthwhile investment if you're doing that a bit. So that's off, no problem. This one slid right out, as you can see. This one I had to give a bit of a tap with a hammer to persuade it out, but in any case we've now got 2 wheels of the bearings and 2 of these mounts. Now, because of the way the lawnmower works, it's got a lever on one side to raise and lower the cutting deck, so they're not the same on both sides. So I'm going to have to figure out a way of mounting them the same so that the height's the same for both sides. So it looks about right there when I put them next to each other. So maybe if I just weld to this height, to the height of this piece, that seems to be about even. If I line up the top, I line up the bottom, looks about right. Maybe not quite. I might get the tape out and measure them to make sure. But anyway, I want the height from the axle to be the same wherever I weld it, and the distance from the back of the frame. I had a bit of scrap steel. I'll have to get a bit of rust remover in there, but anyway. So I just got a couple of bits of RHS along there and some angle iron. So I think I'll make that the base. My intent was to use this spare shelf I have here as a bit of a platform for the welder. I might cut it off at the right distance. But anyway, it's there, it's not being used, so I may as well use it for something. So I've made and rejected a couple of plans about what to do about these uneven axle mounts. What I was thinking to start with was I'd hang them, weld them on like this and hang them down or whatever, and try and get the heights right. I decided that was going to be, if I did it with this one, it'd be poking out and look a bit funny, so I toyed with the idea of just welding it on anyway, because it wouldn't matter that much. But then I thought, what if I welded them basically with the axle at the level of the frame. That way with this one I could weld it sort of like that and have it flush as well. Then I'll just grind off that extra bit. So I think what I'll do is, because the axle pokes out a little bit, I think what I'll do is I'll weld a couple of bits of flat steel on here to bring it out, and then use that to sort of fill that gap along the other end and weld it on like that. And with this one I'll put a bit on either side of the axle and do the same thing. So that's the current plan. I think I'll do something like that. We'll see how it goes anyway. So I've cut some little strips of 3mm thick steel bar to weld onto these to make the standard sort of distance up away from that little axle thing there. Then I'll weld that to the frame itself. Anyway, I'll get the wire brush in this just to knock a bit of that paint off so it'll weld a bit better, and we'll see how we go. Okay, so I tacked a couple of plates on these suckers. That should give me a universal, uniform sort of mounting surface for both of them. So now they'll get welded onto the frame of the trolley. Okay, so I've welded these axles on. So putting that fillet of steel in the middle seemed to work pretty well. That looks pretty solid to me. I don't think that's going anywhere.